a new grand strategy game that takes place in Earth's solar system, and it looks like a mashup of the Expanse meets Stellaris meets City of Gangsters with some geopolitics and a looming alien invasion painted on top. It sounds like a winner, but is it? Watch on and find out. My name is Thoraxe, and this is Strategy for Busy People. If you've got a few minutes, I'll tell you what to play. This time on Strategy for Busy People, we are looking at Terra Invicta by Pavonis Interactive. I've got 20 hours in this game. Yes, 20. You know what that means, folks. While this game is still in early access or preview mode, as it's referred to on Game Pass, it really seemed to have a lot of the kinks worked out. The game takes place on Earth to start, and it looks like aliens have arrived on Earth. You take control of a faction, which, for the tutorial, happens to be the Resistance. This faction is interested in, unsurprisingly, resisting the alien threat. You are competing on the world stage with 5 other factions, who each have differing priorities. You might be up against Humanity First, who, even more so than your little gang, want to rid the Earth of the alien threat, to the point of exterminating anyone who looks like they might be alien-friendly. There are the Servants, who, unsurprisingly, want to make Earth the servants of the aliens. You can't let those MFers win now, can you? And there are several different types in between. This is truly a grand strategy game, and there are so many mechanics that it's hard to cover them all, so I'll try to focus on the key ones. Your counselors do all of the work in this game, and you can build a small group of them, growing that number by performing scientific research. We'll get to research later. The game is essentially real-time with pause in the sense that your counselors have to plan their missions during paused phases, and then the game runs in real-time-ish mode as things unfold. It's not clear why the game simply isn't turn-based yet. I think that later in the game, when you start to engage in military combat, including space combat with the aliens, the real-timeness may become more important. But even with 20 hours into this thing, I hadn't even launched a spaceship yet. One of the primary sets of missions in this game involves battling with other factions over control points. Nations have regions, and depending on the size of the nation's economy, 1 or more control points. Unsurprisingly, taking control of the control points allows you to, control more of that nation's policies and efforts. That comes in the form of these little pips, which allow you to direct the available investments of the nation into things like unity, the welfare of the people, building armies, or probably, most importantly, building boost. You see, boost is the key resource for launching stuff into space and performing a lot of your spacely missions. As the game progresses, different research unlocks the ability to explore more of the solar system and to do more when you're out there. One of the first important places to go is the Moon, followed by Mars, and then, well, the rest of it starts to play out. You can build space stations, space mines, and so on and so forth. The strategic layer just within the space exploration bit is super complex and super deep. Circling back, controlling control points requires the administration abilities of your counselors, and trying to control too many control points results in penalties, mostly to your influence. Influence is one of many resources like money, ops, and boost that you can spend to increases the chances of success of the various missions that your counselors may perform. Your counselors gain XP by performing, succeeding, or failing at missions, and you can spend these XP to increase their base stats in things like, you guessed it, administration. This game bit me good, and much like other grand strategy games, took a little fumbling around to get off the ground. I restarted twice because I read some guides online to help me figure out some initial strategies. Let's assume the first 5 hours were throwaway, and that I spent the next 15 really getting into it. The primary strategy I tried to adopt involved ignoring Europe because all the factions tend to focus there. It started with a place you might never expect to start, Kazakhstan. No, not because the guide author was a Borat fan, but rather because Kazakhstan is where Russia's space power was coming from. In the game, you have the obvious country organizational aspects, but then you also have federations. Kazakhstan and Russia are in a federation at the beginning of the game. Taking over Kazakhstan quickly, getting control of the executive, and then leaving the Federation means you get to hoover up all that yummy, yummy Kazakh boost. Then I focused on taking over America, first getting Mexico and Canada to support me, which increased my chances with America. Oh, and while all of this is going on, you're trying to purchase global organizations like DARPA and other entities for your counselors to get various buffs to either their stats or resource production. And you can investigate other counselors and try to detain them or assassinate them. But if you get caught performing an assassination, you might need to hide your assassin counselor for a while until the heat dies down. Don't ask me how I know about that. Oh, and there are spaceships and space research. And you also fight the aliens. There is so much to this game. The starting menu warns you the quote-unquote regular game might take over 100 hours to complete. There is a fast mode that compresses the timescale on certain things happening, but I didn't play with it. Before I give my final verdict, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share it with your friends. Agree with me, disagree with me, or want to see other content? Let me know in the comments below. Want to try this game yourself? Check out my humble affiliate link below. And if you want to support me in making more of these videos, become a patron on Patreon. Your support really makes a difference. The final verdict. After 20 hours, I have barely started to scratch the surface of this game. Unfortunately, an update is coming to Game Pass, which will break my save, and I realize that this game is going to take over my life, much like City of Gangsters did, and I got sucked into 40 plus hours with that one. But it's got so much more complexity than City of Gangsters. This is easily a paradox-level game in terms of complexity, strategic depth, mechanics, and more. It's technically from a small indie studio. I can't imagine how this thing will shake out in the long run. This game is insanely deep and continually keeps you on the edge of, well, I might quit, but let me see what happens when this next X gets completed. That next X kept me coming back and back and back. It's the kind of game that had me looking for 5 or 10 minutes here and there just to get a few more cycles in with my counselors. Look, there are some issues and areas that need polishing. Building spaceships involve designing spaceships, and honestly, I frequently find that the least enjoyable part of a game. The UI is really complicated and can be hard to find stuff, but you'll figure it out, and it's rewarding when you do. On my trademarked 3-point score scale of avoid, meh, and I forgot to eat, I sure as hell forgot to eat, and to bathe, and my wife's name, and about work. This game consumed my life. It was that good. Please try it. But maybe wait a little bit until Pavonis is more confident that updates won't nuke your save. After all, you'll get attached to your counselors. No, I'm being totally dramatic. I have not forgotten my wife's name, but I was so sucked into this thing that she may have forgotten she was married.